Okay, hey everyone, I'm PrototypeAlpha and I will be running Hydrophobia Prophecy, aka Discount Tomb Raider with more water. So I'll give you a countdown in 3, 2, 1, now.
Earlier, we had the chance to speak to nanocell head scientist Roderick Norton about the devastation of the global population.
So as I said before, this is kind of a Discount Tomb Raider because it's very clearly inspired by Tomb Raider.
Where am I?
But it definitely is not Tomb Raider. Not by the same studios, and it's actually an indie game. Originally released on Xbox 360 and had a new version released for PC and PS3. So in the original version, this door here you can clip through, which we're about to do, and then you can just clip into the elevator and get most of the game. But in this version it's been patched, so you can't. So we have to go through a decent chunk of the game. But thanks to our Mavi, which is like our navigation tool, we're able to clip through doors and walls and stuff and make it a bit faster.
Okay.
So we need to collect a few items so we can do some other skips.
Damn! I can't get to
So
it.
we've got the hack module, which allows us to obviously hack things, and we're going to need that later on in the game. So you're probably wondering what the story of this game is. It's basically, you're on this ship called Queen of the World, which is like an elite group of people living on the ship, kind of Deus Ex style. And obviously some bad guys don't like that because, yeah. And so they're kind of blow everything up. So just jumping through water because it's quicker than just running through it. And more clips, which requires you to crouch and then walk backwards into a wall, which allows you to get closer to the wall, and then you can just use the Mavi to basically turn around.
Okay, I've got side scan.
We've got the second upgrade that we need for middle section of the game, and it's actually important that we get, so we can't actually skip that. Here we entered the area from the wrong way, so we have to trigger that cutscene so we can progress. Now, normally you'd be going the other way, and then you'd have to turn off the fire and then come up here through an elevator or something. But we can just death walk through that and get to that side. And here's where we needed the hack module. We're now trapped in this room, so we need to hack it. Which is just an easy matching thing. These hacks are always the same for every single hack.
Okay,
And if you haven't noticed already, most of the cutscenes in this game are skippable. Unlike Tomb Raider, where it's the opposite. So we just clip through that door, skip 2 cutscenes that would normally be playing, then come back over here. Get back through, magically there's a way across. Back over to this area and, oh no, this is flooding. What will we do? Luckily, we've got this thing called swimming, which you saw in Tomb Raider for a short amount of time, but this is basically that for most of the game. And this game is made on a custom-made engine called the Hydro engine, which, as the name implies, focuses on water physics. So this game heavily focuses on the fluid physics of the engine. So it can be a curse and a blessing. But unfortunately, the most fun part doesn't happen until the end of the game, which is kind of a shame considering it uses the engine's fluid physics to its fullest. Here we get the gun, so we can now fire some shots. This gun has somewhat of an auto aim, but it's kind of bad.
People.
And that's part 1 of 3. And now the fun part. Now that we've got the gun. So we break that glass to let all the water out, and so we can come in here. And when you have the gun equipped now, you can't do these clips, so you have to wait for her to put the gun away before you can actually clip.
There's no CCTV in there. Okay.
Now we've got the classic vent section,
Now I know what a TV dinner feels like.
and throughout the game there's the guy on the radio called Scoot, and he's helping us throughout the game.
Makes sense.
But we don't actually need him for anything except the modules,
That's why they were guarding the Cyclope.
because we just do our own thing
Protect the engines.
through the power of clips. Here we get the camera module, which allows us to remotely open doors and cameras using the Mavi,
It gets worse. Kate, you better
and
see
we
this.
need that for
I'll
the
go to the CCTV
section coming up
Check
next.
the console quick. There's a camera above you.
Here we do 2 clips, one to get up here and then another one to get through the glass. It is possible to fall there and die from full damage, but luckily I didn't. Here another clip, as you probably expected, and here's where the camera module comes in handy. You can just open that door and then interact with the camera and open this door. This cutscene and the next one aren't skippable for some reason, but they're nice and short. Here normally you'd go underwater and go through a section underneath, but you can just clip through that to the valve we need to turn.
Swim for it.
And here's a small skip that I discovered when I started running this game, which I'm actually surprised wasn't found by anyone before. You come up here and then just jump over this gap. Normally you have to swim under there, get a key, and then go through there and do some scanning. But you can just get that.
Okay, Miss Wilson, on your toes. We've got 3 sneaky rodents ahead guarding the VFD facility.
Great.
It looks like they're occupied. Something. Listen, take it slowly. You'll be fine. Just don't draw attention to yourself.
Now we've got the second ammo type that will come in handy for
Take him out
parts of the run.
quietly. Use your gel rounds.
And gel rounds are basically explosives,
Shit, they're on
but
you.
they don't actually do that much damage. Here we click through there, and we don't need to care about this guy. If you kill him, there's a small cutscene and it's safer, but you can just clip through here before he kills you. Here normally you'd have to turn off the gas, but we don't need to do that because it's slow. So instead we break the glass and come in through here. And now we need to wait for the water level to lower so that we can actually clip through this door. Because when the water level's at a certain height you can't crouch, and we need to be able to crouch. As you can see, water is kind of RNG because of the calculations. But we'll get that. This is one more annoying clips to do. Especially since the water level changes and then puts you out of crouch. There we go. So don't need to search that guy for any key or anything because we can just clip through doors, and if we do, there'll be enemies that spawn inside this next room, which takes ages to kill, and we don't want to spend time because we want to go fast. And normally the game has you destroy a panel down there to flood the area and then get rid of the fire in here. But the elevator goes up far enough that we can just go under the elevator. And we do so by placing an explosive down, and then when we roll underneath, we blow up the explosive so it pushes us further. You'll see a similar strat later on in the run. We're getting close to the end of this chapter. Hopefully the game doesn't crash when I come through here. And we're safe. We need to destroy some of these cables so we don't get electrocuted. Kill this guy over here, see he has a key we need. And then we just run over, collect the key, scan the thing in this room here. And then to leave, we just jump over here and end of that chapter. Now this is where we get the infection. So every now and then we'll need to collect some pills. And now we need to leave this area by getting up onto this bridge and then over here. Here and over here, which is a lot faster than waiting for the water levels to rise. Now just dodging and weaving through these holes. As you can see, this gun is not all that good. See, it doesn't knock enemies down unless it's fully charged. Okay, destroy those cables so we can pass. Now more swimming. Break this glass, and if we're rolling through the water, it will allow us to roll more times than it should. So that's a slightly quick way to get through that area. And here we come over here, and we need the water for physics to comply with us so we can get pushed up onto here, jump up, and just barely make it. Come through here by crouching and do another hack. So we've hacked the door and one of the NG generator thingy projects. And now we need to go and hack the other one. So for this one we come up here and do a similar thing as the other one, but we don't need to hack anything. We just need to leave the area through this door here. And almost die. You can actually die from those enemies though. Now we need more pills, which you can find in here, along with some energy rounds which we'll need for the final boss. But for now we need to collect pills, which we can do through the floor because why not? And then continue on to the area where the first chapter left off. So these boxes can be very stupid and not actually move when you blow things up. All you can really do is sort of push them away using sonic rounds and hope they actually move out of the way. Now we need to click back through to where we came through into this area in the first chapter. And to do that, we need one of these. And then we blow it up while swimming into that so that we get pushed through that small gap. I'm gonna take the air here for safety, but you can actually make that in one cycle. We now need to head back to the elevators that the original version of the game could clip into. So there's a decent amount more in this version compared to the original one, but not too much thanks to all the skips. So we come up here, don't need to clip through that anymore, and we don't need to clip through this.
Well, tell the world your name.
Office Bailey, NSL Security.
Here we're going to do another gel jump, but first we need to kill all these enemies off, and then collect some more pills.
We need to find more pills.
And when we collect the pills, more enemies will spawn. And we're collecting all the ammo off these guys because we'll need it in the final fight. When we kill off those guys and get up here, enemies will spawn down there, which can be very annoying if you're trying to do this fast and not kill those guys, because we will take damage from doing this skip. So place one thing there, and then we blow them up and almost get up there. This one's quite a tricky skip, so I'm not surprised that I failed it. If I don't get this on this attempt, then there is a backup I can do. Okay, I didn't die this time, luckily, so I can go for another try. Okay, and we got it. That's good. So here we need to climb up these things, and there's a scripted sequence that happens. But we need, if we're too far to the left, the scripted sequence will actually not grab this ledge and we'll just glide by death, fall down to our death. And it's very easy to have that happen. So when you're climbing up to there, you just need to just barely tap left so that you're not too far to the left. Now we go into this vent. I'm going to show up a skip that is done in the original version of the game, but doesn't save time in this because we need to wait for our weapons to be put away. But you can use the Mavi to run inside crawl space. You're probably wondering that didn't save any time, but we can now use it again and it will allow us to run again. It obviously doesn't save time in this version of the game because we've done that skip, and so we have our weapon out. Here we need to get a key from this guy. Now we need to go and scan the thingamajig so we can actually use the elevator.
Emergency evacuation. This is not a drill. Please proceed calmly.
So we don't actually need to go into the room because we can do it through the window. And then we jump down to leave, even though you can actually go through that window, but we need to trigger this cutscene. Now we get water barrels, which are the most fun part of the game, which they leave until the last part, which is unfortunate.
What's happening to me?
So now we have the power to control water, and we can use it to just kill enemies really quickly and to move objects out of the way, which we need to do, otherwise this door doesn't unlock. And again, we can just stun this guy by knocking him down, and that's all we need to do there. Here there's a skip that I found that doesn't save any time, but is cool to see. So we can clip through these, and now we're in the boss arena, but we need to reach a checkpoint before we can actually spawn the boss in. And to do that we need to clip through this wall. And now we're on the outside. Now we need to run over to this door to trigger the checkpoint. Enemies will spawn here. Just knock them over and then enter the boss arena. So here we've got this mechanical boss that the antagonist controls. Has two different types of attacks, and then we need the stunner. And then we blow it up with some barrels, and it looks like we might have got the phase skip. So what the phase skip is that if we kill these enemies off quick enough, we can actually skip boss phases. There we go, there's one. And the way you can tell that you've got it is that the enemy flashes red during the first cutscene. So go up those. Got the second one. And that is time. So that was Hydrophobia Prophecy, a nice Tomb Raider inspired game. It's also partially inspired by Deus Ex in the setting, and probably Bioshock with the water powers. But it was a nice fun game to play casually, and a decently easy game to learn to run. So I'd recommend picking this up. Even if you don't want to run it, it's lots of fun as a casual game, and nice and cheap as well. So that's it from me for now, but I'll catch you later on today with a race in Game Valley. But for now, I'll let Matt cut me off and enjoy the next one.